If you are like me and you were not raised by Christian parents or in a Christian marriage, if you're raised in a broken home and there are different issues going on, and you are really working your best to be a godly woman, wife, and mother, this video today is for you. I hope that you find encouraging and that it can really aid you on your journey in becoming these things that you want to be. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, LovedHappy. My name is Kaylyn, and here on my channel, it's my desire for you to feel loved, encouraged, built up, and give you practical tips to be your best self and live your best life. That's really good. Should I keep that? I'm gonna write that down. So a little bit about me. My parents divorced when I was 1 year old. There's quite a bit of dysfunction in my house when I grew up. Just a lot of unhealthy things going on. By God's grace, I developed a relationship with him. I actually kind of always had a relationship with him ever since I was a little girl. I think something that played a big part in that was my grandparents would take me to church ever since I was a little baby. I'm really certain that just that exposure to that really had a positive impact on my soul. My parents were divorced. I lived with my mom, but would see my dad every other weekend, and then we would visit with him once a week in the evening time. And yeah, there was just a lot of stuff going on. But they both definitely loved me, and I always felt loved by my parents. I always felt believed in by my parents. I always knew that even though they were not perfect, that they really loved me. And I'm definitely grateful for that. I feel myself getting emotional here. Okay. As a single mom, my mom worked so hard for us, and she did an amazing job. It was me and my older sister. Especially being a mom now, I'm just in awe of what she did give to us. I just wanted to talk about this topic because it's been on my mind quite a bit lately, because you know, there are people who are raised in a Christian home, and I feel like a lot of things come really naturally to them because they were shown them. For instance, my mom worked full-time and she went to law school while I was growing up. She was really not there because she was working so hard for us. Here I am though, I'm a wife. I wasn't shown that example. I have never seen my mom be a wife, which is kind of crazy to think about. My mom never remarried. My dad did remarry a few times, and he is remarried right now. But I was never shown the example of a godly wife. My mom did not stay home with us. I was shown the example of an independent woman who worked very hard for her family and provided for her family, and, you know, was often stressed about money and all that sort of stuff. That is what I was shown. How do I become that godly woman, that godly wife and godly mother when I was not shown any of those things? Will say though that while I was not shown those things, I am grateful that I was not shown the picture of an incredibly dysfunctional marriage. I just never really had an idea of marriage. I did get glimpses of that when my dad was remarried, but those were not necessarily the most healthy marriages. But I did actually gain a lot from those times because I did see a family unit as a whole have fun, and I was part of that at times in my life, and I'm definitely grateful for those experiences. But it is kind of sad when you're not, to not be a part of a whole family and to have that whole experience. And I did miss out on God's design in that growing up. But I do obviously want to give that to my kids, and I do want to be part of cultivating a healthy family relationship that is full of love and full of all the beautiful things that God has for it. So that leads me into something, and that is, it's so important to have examples of what you want to be and what you want to have and become. Because if we don't have examples and something to look for, to strive for, or just some sort of picture or ideal in our mind, how are we ever going to have something to work towards to become? I took leaps and bounds in my faith a little bit before I met my husband, and there was this couple that was extremely influential in our life, part of this kind of church group that we are part of. The husband actually married us, and we've always had a strong connection to their family. They did our premarital counseling. They have always been there to speak wisdom into our lives and just people that we can call and be encouraged by. When we were married, there's a time where I wasn't working, and they lived about 45 minutes away, but she homeschools her 6 kids, and I was so drawn to their family. I just wanted to know, how do they live life? How do you homeschool 6 kids? This was so foreign to me. I did not grow up in the homeschool culture or anything like that. I did not grow up, you know, going to church with my family. I never had that kind of support as a family or that strong foundation of Christ in my family. So I would go hang out with her because I just wanted to see how she did life. I wanted to see how you school and parent 6 kids at home in a day. So I would often go down there. I would just help her do dishes and feed her kids and play with her kids and just be there to hang out and chat with her in between the craziness. That was super beneficial to me because that gave me some sort of framework of an idea. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my children, but I really saw the value in them being influenced by their parents. And We also learned a lot about marriage from them. They're very open about their marriage and things that they struggled with and things that they had grown through and were growing through. And that absolutely blessed us, just to kind of have that example of a Christ-centered marriage, because a biblical marriage is so different than marriage in this world. It's literally night and day. Marriage in this world is very self-serving and very much about feelings and what you can get from people, and a biblical Christ-centered marriage is truly about covenant and sacrifice and laying your life down for the other person and serving and loving selflessly. So to have that picture of that and other couples in our life was definitely a huge benefit. There's been so many couples through that church group who have truly impacted our lives and we have great relationships with. So I just want to encourage you, if you did not have those examples, especially if you aren't married yet, try and understand what you were taught perhaps about marriage, about the role of a woman, about the role of a mom and everything like that, and try and seek out God's heart from that, because God has definitely taught me a lot about that personally, even aside from other influences. God is always enough, and He can supplement what we missed out on, and He can teach us directly by His Holy Spirit and through Scripture. And so seek out His wisdom in the challenges that you're facing. Also, there's so many amazing Christian women YouTubers who really can have an influence on you. And I know it's through a screen and it's this kind of format. I truly believe that you can be impacted by my videos because I have been impacted by other women's videos. Don't discount this connection and what can happen between a video, because God truly can move through these things and help to change our hearts and help to build us up into the women that He wants us to be through YouTube and through listening to sermons and through Bible studies. And if you're watching this video, you have access to that. You have access to the internet, and there's so many amazing women out there who can influence you. Also, I just want to say, I'm not glorifying anyone. If you're raised by an amazing, loving Christian mom, I think that is amazing, and you have inherited something beautiful. We all inherit different things from our parents. We each have our own personal heritage in our families and down our family history line, and I really think that plays a big impact in our life. But God's grace and mercy is always bigger than that, and He is always enough. If you are not raised in a Christian home, like myself, I think it's so amazing if you're watching this video, and I just know God has so much honor for people like you and me as well, who were not raised in that but have that desire and have that longing and are seeking after that. So I just want you to know it's not about what we inherit but what we do with that, and no one has the perfect upbringing or the perfect marriage to look at either. We could all stand to unlearn a lot of things that our parents taught us and learn more about God's heart for our own personal lives as women. And no matter where you come from in your history, God knows your story. He knows the situation you grew up in. He knows the things that were impressed upon your soul, the things you struggle with, the things that you were taught by your parents that maybe weren't the most healthy. And He is there to love you and to walk you through that. He is there to illuminate your path and to bring you truth. And if you seek after that, He will absolutely show it to you. He loves that you have the desire to be a godly woman, and He wants to walk you forward in that. I know sometimes if you are not shown that, maybe you are carrying a lot of baggage from your past. Sometimes it can feel so far from your reality, but just keep seeking after God's heart and really seek to become the woman that He has you to be. That'll definitely help, especially to do that before you get married and are yoked to someone else. And then you're confronted with a lot of other things. So, and then especially before motherhood, that's like a whole nother level. So anyways, I guess I wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of the women that I see and look up to seem like they had the perfect upbringing, which I know is not true whatsoever. That is not true at all. But it can feel that way. It can feel like things just come more easily to other people. Like staying at home with my daughter. This is something that is kind of unnatural for me. I was not shown that. But I do extremely value it, and God is helping me and giving me His heart for all of this. I just want to be an example for you, if you can relate to me and weren't raised in that perfect Christian home, to know that you can do it. You can make choices that your parents didn't make, and you can go on to live a life that is more in line with what God has truly placed in your heart. He will empower you to do that, and He will walk you through that. I'm here with you, and I want to support you, and I want to let you know that it's possible and it's good, and this path is totally worth choosing, even if it feels a little less natural to you because you were not shown that. If this topic interests you, I'd love to hear down below in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience, your thoughts. I think this is a super interesting topic. Let me know if you want more content kind of related to this, maybe growing up in a dysfunctional home. I know there are so many of you out there who have experienced things like I have experienced, and those of you who have experienced that, I want to encourage you and uplift you, and I want to walk alongside of you and to continue to grow into the women that God has truly made us to be. I want to live my best life with you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!